Have you wondered once why you did something? Like, not weeks after the fact, but literally a few seconds or minutes after you decided to do something, and you wondered, that's interesting. That's a little bit unusual. That's not something I would usually do. Over the past year, it has happened to me quite often, as I have transitioned in my life from one lifestyle, which is more conventional, with employment, paycheck, stable domicile, into a more semi-nomadic, uncertain path. And so it has come to me quite often to wonder about, okay, why did I just decide to do that? That's interesting. And today I'm in Thailand, in Phuket. This is my last day here of a 10-day stay. And today I decided I'm gonna go cycle in the middle of the day, which is very hot. And actually nobody does that. Everyone here is taking motorbikes or cars to move around. I did a little cycle trip one of those days, and actually I didn't find it too bad. It is demanding, it's hot, and it's quite steep where you go on the western side, the southwestern side here to go to the nice beaches. But today was my last day, and I had the choice between basically doing something quite touristy, go to one of the islands out there. I already went there for diving, and so I saw that they are beautiful, and I don't think doing another touristy tour of the islands would add much to that great impression that I've had. And then I couldn't really find anything more unique or interesting to do. And so then it hit me, this idea. I was like, okay, well, let's just cycle. And then I wondered, like, well, that's a weird thing to want to do. As I've experienced, it's quite demanding. It's not like that pleasant, but somehow just a mixture of mood, personality, and other factors seem to come together to create this decision. There's a deeper philosophical question here around free will, and there is a lot of varying opinions here. Some people think we have free will. But then the interesting question is, okay, so why did you just decide to do this or that? And it becomes difficult to actually discern where does the free will start. And some other people, on the other hand, say we have no free will whatsoever. We are fully deterministic. But somehow this feels also odd. Like, our actions are not totally random, like the movement of particles of water or gas in some kind of system, right? We're not totally random. It's not like I decided today I'm gonna walk naked on the street, or I'm gonna go on a painting course, or I'm gonna collect rubbish. Those are all possible actions, but I didn't decide to do these. There is some narrow band of things that we are thinking of doing, and there is some randomness, but it's not one or the other, it seems. So it's interesting. So yeah, today I'm gonna go cycle, see where this slightly random, slightly free will, slightly deterministic decision will take me. So come along and maybe we'll chat more about free will. It starts with a pretty steep ascent here. Now it's down to Kathu beach. It's a good starter. Good thing is that the gradient is not constant, so there was a little bit of a flat here. By the way, there is a elephant sanctuary, which I discovered last time. And we continue climbing. Now it's getting steeper. Of course, at the top there is the reward, which is the view. View over Kathu beach. Well worth the effort. But this is the question. That's probably in the back of my mind when I decide to do these things, because I do love hiking, and you usually get the reward at the top. Nice view, something unique. That's probably what factored in also in my decision today to just go cycling in the middle of the heat. But to what extent do you call that free will? If it's some mechanism in your subconscious that's just working and that triggers the decision, how much of it is really will? So it's something that's associated with you, but then it's triggered, and then you might be feeling, okay, I'm gonna do this now. And you just accept it because it's pretty close to your personality traits. But it's not totally random, right? There are elements where I do get this positivity and these good feelings, so it wasn't totally random action from my subconscious. So that was the first stop, but there's still more to go. And explore the west coast as much as possible until basically sunset, and then get back to Rawai where I stay. Well, I've reached Kathu, then continued to Patong on the west coast, had a nice lunch, and now I'm on the way back. And it's lovely. I noticed a little artsy corner of a cafe and a bar and a little gallery on the side of the road, so I decided to stop. Unfortunately, the coffee place is closed, so I won't get my coffee fix here, but there's beautiful art, and it's one of those random things that you find when you just follow the flow, explore a little bit. Finding this kind of place would never have been planned. I just discovered it by looking at Google Maps when I was in Kathu, and I was looking at, okay, where are nice coffee places around, and then I saw this place, and this again shows the value of just following sometimes these inner flows, these a bit random, decisions. You're like, what am I going to do today? I'm going to just cycle, and no plan, no idea what I'm going to do. It's going to be a bit tough because of the inclines and the traffic, but you find a lot of cool stuff. So, following those slightly random impulses of the mind have brought a lot of interesting stuff in my life recently. So I want to explore this kind of idea of what is driving these impulses, and what are the effects really? It's something that's fascinating me, not just in our kind of mental state, but our lives and the way we approach a lot of social constructs like work, pensions, some duties we have in society. So that are interesting and interconnected themes that are connected to this notion of, well, a lot of the free will or not free will, the factors that affect our behaviors, but also our mental awareness of the world around us. So next stop, I'm going to show you the beautiful art here, and then we're going to try to catch the sunset in Kathu beach. I think that's one of the most beautiful beaches on this side, and it's facing the west, so that should be a very nice sunset. This is the owner of the art coffee place. What's your name?
Win.
Win.
Marwin.
Win. Nice to meet you. Marwin.
Yeah.
Marwin, nice to meet you. It's a beautiful place you have here.
Thank you.
It's beautiful art near Patong. This is beautiful art coffee place. So yes, and I also filmed the entrance. I filmed the entrance. So for anyone who is interested, come visit. But also, if you're interested in the paintings, you can get in touch, and then you can arrange something. So, we're ending the cycling day at Karen Beach, not Kathu Beach, and a beautiful sunset. So while some decisions do come a bit random, like the decision itself to go for the cycling tour, that I cannot really call free will because it just pops a little bit randomly in the mind. Other decisions are more in flow, like for example coming to this beach to look at the sunset. That certainly feels like I did the decision, but then again it feels also like something just popped into my brain which was in flow with the other information and the other actions of the day. So then once it pops in the head, you kind of like assume it kind of makes sense to do it. Just checking my microphone, yeah. You assume it's fine to do it. You assume you've made the decision because it kind of fits. You don't question it so much. And I think most people during their lives don't question where the decisions come from. But at some point, I think every one of us wonders like, oh, why did I just think that, and where did that come from? And I think it has to do with how we're conditioned for predictability, basically. We don't want to have totally random behaviors. So society conditions us to be predictable, and that's how we are used to being. And then once we allow ourselves to little bit exploring, a bit wilder, I don't know what you call the adjectives, then you suddenly discover this variability in impulses, in thought. And recently I saw this Werner Herzog clip about penguins in Antarctica. He was filming this one penguin who suddenly decided to just leave his colony and just go towards the mountains to basically certain death. And while we don't know what motivates the penguin, we can only speculate, you know, that maybe he's suddenly had a thought popping in his mind that he wanted to explore. Maybe he wanted to explore and find a better place for his community. Maybe he wanted to commit suicide. Who knows? There's a lot of things are behind that potential action. But the fundamental thing that it showed was that even in the animal kingdom, sometimes impulses are quite random. You wouldn't think that animals have that, but it shows with this penguin example that even animals can just behave a little bit randomly. And I think we have a similar engine in our brain. It's not fully random. It harnesses some variability, and I believe we call it sometimes in some areas like arts, creativity, inspiration, and maybe in the scientific realm, yeah, the eureka moment where the scientist discovers something new. I think this is what our brains are capable of. They are basically harnessing some form of randomness, but it's bounded. It's bounded by some limits, which to me right now are a little bit difficult to identify, because it's certainly not the limits of just what you're used to. There's something more to it, because like I said, if you're exploring artistically, you sometimes go into areas you have no clue about, but something guides you towards that area in particular. There's certainly a wish for interestingness, a wish for fun, They are blended in that playfulness. They are definitely in there. Certainly, from my recent trips, my decisions have been always guided by this certain playfulness and certain, I wanna go do something a little bit unusual. I wanna have fun. I wanna find interesting stuff to see, to experience. And it's not a bad thing, actually. It is. If everyone would be able to do that, I think we would have maybe richer mental states, each one of us. Because there's a lot of beauty around us, and I think we are just missing that out when we are doing the predictable things of conventional life. We are missing that playfulness that comes through a little bit of randomness. We're missing those beautiful sunsets and the art coffee shops that you'll suddenly find on the road and everything else.